So, I have some thoughts on this movie. Obviously, this film just came out, Captain America Brave New World. I don't really know exactly where to begin with this, other than, I mean, it's a step up in terms of, like, political action, you know, political intrigue, sort of like set against the backdrop of superhero drama, which, if that's really your cup of tea as far as MCU movies go, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by this. In terms of, like, the overall pacing and plot design, there were some light holes that were detectable and noticeable here. I'm not going to go into spoilers here. Plenty of other reviewers out there will have also done so by the time this video is seen. But in any event, visual effects were spot on in a lot of ways, particularly with the Red Hulk fight near the end. From what I understand, what they did with Tim Blake Nelson coming back from Incredible Hulk 2008, they brought him back here in a way that was surprisingly functional and actually leaves a lot of wiggle room open for long-term consequences that we haven't really seen the full scope of necessarily. I don't believe that the full scope of what he was brought back into the picture for was purely for the purposes of this movie. I want to believe that he had other irons in the fire all this time because of the nature of who that character is, comics-wise. So I'm going to give Marvel Studios a little bit more benefit of the doubt than this film is asking for. Maybe that's just me speaking as a fan when I say that. What do you guys think? Drop us a line in the comments. One other thing I want to point out. So, there are a couple of interesting little cameos here. I'm not going to spoil them. The way that they were serviced here, I'll put it this way. The first film I liked. Oh, no, sorry. The first cameo I liked. The second cameo at the very, very end. It was functional. I think they could have done better with that. I'm being frustratingly vague when I say this, I know. I just don't want to do a bunch of heavy spoilers on the weekend this movie comes out. But I will say that overall I do like this film. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is maybe 7 out of 10. I'm going to rank this out as a 7 out of 10. It just felt like there was, like, kind of too much hand-wringing, ultimately, in terms of the overall pacing and the plot design, and sort of having, like, it just felt like too much of the action over the course of this, and the pacing was just too kind of, like, dependent on, like, things happening around Sam, and not so much, like, Sam being sort of the instrument that drives the plot forward, like what would happen in a lot of other movies of this type, certainly with the last Captain America films. So I realize this is a franchise that's under new management, let's call it that way, so I am really excited to see what they do next. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this is a flat 7 out of 10. Not bad. I don't agree with the Rotten Tomatoes rankings. I do not think this is a bad film. I do like this movie, and I do look forward to seeing this again on Disney Plus eventually. But ultimately, I'm just going to give this a 7 and just cross my fingers for, like, further rewards once it comes time for Doomsday or Secret Wars or Captain America 5, which even Mackie himself has expressed interest in doing, so I guess we'll see. And, by the way, the creative staff on this film, starting with Malcolm Spellman coming back from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Julius Ona, who directed this film, I think y'all did a really good job considering what the moving pieces were that had to come into play here in order to make a functional film. I think y'all did a good job with what you had to work with here, and I'm pleasantly surprised by this film overall. I hope y'all come back for the next film. I really do hope y'all come back for the next film, especially Malcolm Spellman. I'm really curious to see what else can be done with his style of writing with this character. I really liked what he did with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I like what he did with this film overall. I want to see more, so that's all I want to say. Captain America Brave New World is in theaters now, and this is Donn from Weekend Showcase giving the film a solid 7 out of 10. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you real soon.